In the shadowy world of smuggling, certain trades capture headlines and ignite public outrage. Drug trafficking, for instance, is a $400 billion industry, one that dominates global news and triggers international crackdowns. The illegal wildlife trade, though smaller, generates over $20 billion annually, devastating ecosystems and pushing species to extinction. Human trafficking brings in another $150 billion each year, its effects leaving scars on humanity itself. These trades thrive in the murky underworld, fueled by greed and a lack of oversight. Yet there exists another smuggling industry, far larger in scale and far less recognized. It operates under the radar, touching every corner of modern life. It's not gold, oil, or even narcotics. It's sand. The very foundation of urbanization and modern development has quietly become a $300 billion black market. And unlike other resources, the demand for sand is only increasing, with global usage expected to rise by nearly 50% over the next 40 years. Sand is a resource so deceptively plentiful that its true value is often ignored. But here's the reality. The world extracts 50 billion tons of sand every year. That's enough to build a wall 27 meters high and 27 meters wide around the entire equator annually. If sand were classified as a mineral, we'd mine more of it than all other minerals combined, 5 times over. The problem isn't just the scale of extraction, but how and where it happens. The United States alone has over 4,000 sand mining companies, while globally there are an estimated 10 to 15 million artisanal sand miners, often operating without regulations or oversight. Take China, home to Lake Pooong, the largest single sand mine on Earth. Over 2 decades, illegal sand mining from this lake has removed an estimated 230 million cubic meters of sand, irreversibly altering the ecosystem. This extraction is so severe that it's visible from space. The lake's shores have eroded drastically, and the flow of the Yangtze River, which feeds into it, has nearly doubled, causing devastating environmental consequences downstream. Rivers are natural sand producers, replenishing supplies as rocks erode upstream. But miners disrupt this balance, extracting sand at rates up to 25 times faster than natural replenishment. In Kerala, India, riverbeds have been lowered by 6 feet due to sand mining, with extraction rates reaching 40 times the natural rate. This has caused catastrophic floods, destroying thousands of homes and killing over 600 people in recent years. The environmental costs extend beyond floods. Overmining in rivers reduces the granularity of sand, turning it into coarse gravel that harms aquatic ecosystems. Fine sediments filter water and provide a habitat for microorganisms. When these are removed, water quality deteriorates, often becoming contaminated with heavy metals. Increased salinity in rivers impacts drinking water supplies and agricultural irrigation, creating a ripple effect of destruction. The Mekong River is a prime example. Flowing through 6 countries, it loses 55 million tons of sand annually to mining. The Mekong Delta near Ho Chi Minh City is sinking under the pressure, with rising salinity and vanishing land threatening the livelihoods of over 60 million people. By the year 2100, scientists predict that half of the delta could be underwater. Sand mining is also eroding the riverbanks, increasing the risk of flooding in already vulnerable regions. The story is the same across the globe. In the United States, erosion of sandbanks along rivers like the Brazos and Colorado has weakened natural defenses against hurricanes. leading to intensified flooding. In Indonesia, sand mining has caused the disappearance of 24 islands since 2005. Their coastlines literally sold to neighboring Singapore to fuel its relentless urban expansion. In response, countries like Malaysia, Vietnam, and Cambodia have banned sand exports. But these bans have done little to curb the illegal trade. Illegal sand mining operates in the shadows, often under the protection of corrupt officials. The trade is fragmented, with countless small operators vying for profits. This decentralized nature makes regulation almost impossible. In Morocco, it's estimated that over 50% of mined sand is illegally sourced. Beaches have been stripped bare by criminal gangs working in tandem with local authorities. Protesters who oppose these operations often face threats, violence, or worse. India is home to the world's largest sand-related organized crime groups. Known as the Sand Mafias, these groups have created makeshift cities near major rivers, equipped with assembly lines of backhoes and trucks to extract sand on an industrial scale. In Uttar Pradesh, India's most populous state, sand mining has been banned. However, the ban has only fueled black markets, corruption, and violent clashes over access to this essential resource. Hundreds have died in conflicts related to sand mining in India alone. From protesters murdered to miners burned alive in disputes over territory. The violence isn't limited to India. In countries like Ghana, Brazil, and Cambodia, opposition to illegal sand mining has led to deaths, often under gruesome circumstances. It's not just environmentalists who are targeted. Miners themselves are frequently victims of extortion, theft, and murder at the hands of rival groups or corrupt officials. The devastating effects of sand mining extend beyond human suffering. In regions where sand mining has depleted natural resources, the consequences are stark. Take the example of Hoi An, a UNESCO World Heritage Site in Vietnam. Sand mining has caused parts of the city's protective delta to collapse, making the area vulnerable to rising sea levels. The cultural and historical significance of the region is now at risk of being washed away, a tragic loss for future generations. So why is sand so critical? Its unique properties make it irreplaceable for construction and manufacturing. Sand from deserts, like that of the Sahara, is too smooth and rounded to bind effectively in concrete. Only riverbeds, lakes, and coastal sand have the angular granularity required for building materials. This limitation drives demand for sand in regions where it's becoming increasingly scarce, fueling a vicious cycle of illegal extraction. Solutions exist but face significant challenges. Recycling construction waste into usable sand is one promising approach. The European Union has implemented policies to encourage this practice, and cities like Amsterdam are pioneering the use of recycled materials in new buildings. However, these efforts are still in their infancy and cannot yet compete with the low cost of illegally mined sand. Other innovations, such as using crushed glass or rocks as sand substitutes, offer potential alternatives. Yet these too remain niche solutions due to higher costs and logistical challenges. A sustainable approach to sand mining would involve regulating extraction to match natural replenishment rates. However, this requires international cooperation and strict enforcement, two things that have proven elusive in the face of lucrative profits and widespread corruption. As urbanization accelerates, the demand for sand is expected to increase by 50% over the next 4 decades. Cities built during the 20th century are now crumbling, requiring vast quantities of sand for reconstruction. This rising demand is projected to double the price of sand, making it an even more attractive target for smugglers and illegal miners. The future of sand mining paints a grim picture. Without immediate intervention, the environmental and social consequences will only worsen. Rivers will continue to erode, ecosystems will collapse, and millions will face displacement due to rising seas and intensified flooding. Meanwhile, the shadowy underworld of sand mafias will grow richer, leaving governments and environmentalists struggling to catch up. This hidden crisis demands urgent attention. Sand may seem insignificant, but its role in sustaining modern civilization makes it one of the most critical resources on Earth. Ignoring the consequences of its exploitation risks not only environmental devastation, but also the erosion of the very foundations of human society.